Welcome back, everybody. We're going into part 2 of today's episode of RollPlay Nebula Jazz.
Yeah.
So there's this station. We get the nice long establishing shot. This is the we see the surface of the like gas giant. It's a huge kind of purple and magenta planetoid with rings and lots of little moons and stuff. We see that, and we see in the distance the shape of Bogart Station come like rattling around the surface of the planet. And I think that it's one of those space stations that is a big central kind of cylinder, and then it's got a big metal kind of ring around it, big ring where they would keep things. It's basically like a halo kind of effect. Huge thing, moon size. And we see that in the distance. Then we get a closer shot of the station and all the traffic moving to and from it. And the title comes up, Bogart Station. And then we see the ship come rattling overhead, and the beautiful painting of the cow alien on the side as you approach. And then we cut to the inside, the first view of the inside of Bogart Station. The station is packed, right? Of course, because it's this cosmopolitan place. There are all of these various species coming and going, and we get a kind of like crowded vibe out of it we see the ship in the background and then we see it opening up, but there are enormous loader robots, big sort of octopod shaped things picking up cargo and moving them around. We see a group of some kind of like aliens in like long robes disembark from a ship, and they're kind of talking to each other in a strange language, and the camera kind of follows back and forth between these things before it settles on the utterly dependable. And the side doors part, the ramp comes down, and the group of you walk out onto the station. So where are you going? Right, the Bogart Station has all kinds of things for visitors to do. Right, are you going to be staying here very long, or is this a plan to just go to the Alexatronian embassy and be like, we need you to take a look at this and then leave? What's the plan, team?
Yeah, what's the plan, Rex?
Yeah, what's the plan, Rex?
We're just going in, landing like civilians. We're going to go to the Alexatronian embassy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to use their facilities to identify this map.
Okay, so you're heading straight there?
Yeah, I think like there's like, you walk past like gift shops and space fast food chains and into the business district.
Okay, so as you're leaving the docking area, right? You're at one end of the spire, headed towards the ring, and as you leave it, there's a huge archway under which all incoming traffic is being processed. There's a big rotating neon sign that says in various languages, that you have to line up and go through customs basically to get in. And there's just this enormous line, right? Like you walk up and try to get past them, and there's a huge kind of meaty alien in a like an orange vest and some slacks, and he turns and kind of like looks at you like, were you trying to budge? Like grunts.
Rex just kind of put his hands up. He's like, easy, fella.
Yeah, he grumbles something in an alien language that isn't worth translating. We don't get the subtitles for. He kind of like turns his back to you. But yeah, I mean, the proper way in is going to be through that archway and into the station.
Rex kind of turns to the group and he's like, any warrants I need to know about?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're gonna probably be here a while, so Rex just kind of he cuts his sentence off and just kind of turns and puts his hands in his pockets and just joins the queue, I guess.
Yeah, I think that as you say that, you're like, we're gonna be here a while. We get the fade, And when the transition is that you're all like at the closer to the front of the line. You're approaching the docket, and there's a row of, and it extends out, to a vast degree in both directions. There's a row of little areas where people are splitting the line and walking up, and it's basically just like trying to cross any border, but it's all like sci-fi. And you notice that there are scanners over each entrance under this big archway, and I think maybe Luna, it occurs to you that these scanners are meant to determine some like basic biological details about a person.
Okay.
And if Artemis is trying to pretend that she's something she's not, the scanners are old, but they'll probably make short work of a basic disguise like this.
Do I be nice or not? Let me flip a coin. I think I sort of like put my hand out on Artemis's shoulder. And I lean in and I'm like, I don't think you want to get scanned.
I don't really have a choice, do I?
I mean, perhaps you do. You can just not go or sneak in, perhaps, but they'll find out who you are.
I like tug on Rex's shirt.
What do you want, kid?
Your science buddy is saying I shouldn't go through that scanner.
She's an idiot. Just suck it up. They're gonna look at you funny, but you'll be all right. Basil turns around and he's like, I don't know. It appears to be a Model 7 AD system scanner. It definitely will detect our friend's peculiar nature.
It's not like it's illegal for me to be here. Anybody can put makeup on.
Well, we could just say you like to play dress up then.
Exactly.
So as you're having this conversation, there's a series of tones to like get your attention, and you look up, and the floor under the panels has illuminated a long green line that leads you up to one of the areas where you can be processed. And as you approach, there are holograms that appear to either side of you to kind of walk you through like what is to be expected. So one of the holograms is like an alien dumping a bunch of like poison vials, vials with like skull and crossbones on them, and like one of them is like a nuclear bomb, and they're like throwing these like deadly weapons into a garbage can. There's another warning that lists a bunch of like forbidden species. None of you are on that list. Though we do see in the like rotating view, there is like a green sort of gelatinous blob type creature that is apparently banned from Bogart Station.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And so as you walk up, you kind of walk through these holograms that are explaining what's gonna happen and what to expect. And then we see you walk up to a kind of tired looking kind of avian creature. He's got a long kind of bony beak and a frill of bright orange feathers, and he's wearing a quite tight fitting uniform, like a customs uniform. He's got a little hat on the front of his head. And as you walk up, the bird creature looks at the group of you and says, "Is this everyone? The whole crew?"
Rex nods.
And he reaches out a talon. And he's like, "Papers?"
Rex produces some ill-maintained papers. And
Are
hands
they
them over.
okay? So how legitimate are these papers you're handing over, Rex?
They're like not very.
Are they straight up forgeries, saying you're somebody else? Tell me what the papers
I'm gonna
say.
use my stunt to recall a scene from my past with Eugene,
Mm-hmm.
the hustler.
Okay. All right.
And the scene in question is a similar situation. We need some papers, and Rex comes to Eugene because Eugene kind of knows a person for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
yeah.
where are you when you're having this conversation with Eugene?
We're on our old ship.
Okay.
Eugene, we need some kind of forgery for these this next planet, they're going to be running checks. So
Well, yeah,
Sweet.
going in there with this stuff is gonna be suicide. Am I right? It's like going through our real papers.
Yeah, exactly. You have on the desk in front of you a bunch of data pads showing the like for reals data of everybody on the crew.
it's just like 100 exclamation marks in red.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Rex's
Per
is just a
person.
list of warrants.
Yeah. You must like know a guy or
Yeah, of course I know a guy.
all right. Well,
Now look, if ever,
work your magic.
yeah, I got this. I just want you to know because you like to go off and do shit on your own all the time.
Untrue.
He's just like beeping at stuff. It's like if you ever get in a pickle and you know that somebody's gonna be looking at this shit, you just gotta call my dude Keith, and he'll get you. Okay? You call up Keith. You tell him get rid of all the bad shit, and he's got your back. All right?
I don't know how you know these people, Eugene.
Really? You don't know how I know these people? Really?
I have no really.
How
I,
the
don't, I
fuck
have no
did I
idea.
meet you? You're one of
Yeah, I was
those
gonna
people.
say,
You're
you
one
are
of these
these-
people.
You are these people. I like that.
Roasted.
Yeah. So that's the word at the end of the thing at the end where you're like, yeah, like as we fade back, it's yeah, you are these people, Rex. And so Rex, when we come back, have these documents been prepared by your boy Keith?
I think yeah. On entry into the atmosphere, there's a brief phone call to Keith, and some an irritatingly large sum of money is transferred to arrogant Keith.
Yeah. So Keith, we see
He knows
you.
he's good. He knows
yeah.
he's good at what he does.
So Keith is basically he's like just an enormous like mouth. Basically, he's tiny little eyes on top of his like mostly spherical body, and like tiny little arms and legs, and the rest of him is just a huge mouth. Like his teeth are like dinner plate size. And Keith's like, Rex, these are very good forgeries, Rex. And appropriately, they're going to cost you, my boy.
Keith, they're the same forgeries as always. There's nothing special about them.
I'm offended, Rex. These are wonderful works. I've put a great deal of detail into them.
I'm so sorry that I hurt your sensibilities, Keith. Now, how
Thank
much?
you, Rex. And he says, are we to bargain about them then, or can I send you the bill?
It can't be coincidence that the price has doubled since I left Eugene's company.
Keith, what is the value of safety? Keith must ask you, Rex.
Too fucking much, evidently, Keith. Too much.
Rex, my boy. After what happened to my dear friend Eugene, I think you're underestimating how kind I am to even speak to you at all.
No. Right here, Rex is coming and mumbling under his breath, like, don't fucking push it. And he's like, I'm sending you over 4 IDs. Wipe them. Just tell me how much.
Keith does so love it when you're at his mercy, Rex. We'll see what we can do.
Rex just hangs up.
Right, and then like you hit it. And so this was on the trip on the way over. So now we cut back to the present where you're looking at these forgeries and you're like, ugh. I hope Keith comes through. Okay. So let's have you make a roll here. And I think I want to say that this is you being clever.
Okay.
Clever or careful, like you're planning in advance. Maybe it's just careful. And I think you planned in advance to make this happen. And let's see their quality. I think what we're gonna do, we'll create an advantage, and the advantage is the quality of the forgeries. So let's have you roll. Let's have you roll against a difficulty of 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, Rex is not careful. Now, do you want to spend a fate point to reroll, or do you just want Rex to rely on bad forgeries?
I mean, like
I'll get
I have a
to
0,
use-
so this isn't even a bad roll.
Yeah. Okay.
It sucks because you'd have to use 2.
Yeah.
Like-
To boost it all the way up, yeah, it would be very
Yeah.
expensive. You could do a reroll, but like,
Okay. I mean, all right. Fuck it. Yeah. That's it. Rex is banking on Keith.
all right.
Damn.
Okay. So maybe Keith has it out for you, but there's there's an advantage for me when this comes up. So you have these passports, these documents, and you approach the Birdman and you hand over your documents, and they're kind of like the data, they're hardened data pads basically. He plugs them into these slots he's got on the thing, and as the computer reads them, he says to you, Rex, he says, purpose of your visit?
We're entering. Where are we going? Alexatronian airspace. That's it. We got to see the embassy.
And he squints and he looks at you and he says, are any of you Alexatronian citizens?
He is. He thumbs to Basil.
Right, the robot.
Basil looks around and is like, yes, I am.
And he looks at you.
As you can see.
And he says, he's like, ain't you one of them pleasure models?
Basil leans up against the glass or whatever, the perma glass, whatever it is, and he's just like, why, yes, I am. He gives him a little wink.
Yeah, a look of confused disgust appears on his face.
What? It's Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's not
Birdman, not fan of Mel Gibson.
Birdman.
Yeah.
Not a
No,
fan.
Not fan.
Not a big fan. And yeah, so he scowls like a little bit in disgust. And then he looks at his screen, and we can see you see them invert, right? Because they're on his display, but you can see them backwards. And he's looking at the displays. So I guess, Rex, if you're just trying to like talk your way in, let's have you make a roll. I will oppose it.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, this is just you trying to be like, yeah, we're just going to the embassy. He's an Alexatronian. It's fine. Roll with clever, I guess, and take a +1 from Basil attempting to help you. Oh, good. Yeah, you're really good at lying. I don't even need to use.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay, I got a 3. 3 is the number to beat.
I'm gonna use retired outlaw. This isn't the first time Rex has tried to lie his way through a customs
Yeah,
stop.
that's fair.
He kind of knows what they want to hear.
You have a 2 now.
So you can, yeah, you've got a 2.
This hurts.
So one more fate point will do it.
Yeah, but
Now you have all of your own points or all of your own aspects, plus Bogart Station's aspect is available for spending points on, if that's a thing that you want to do.
Sure. How would I work that? Just they've got so many weirdos coming through here that
That's certainly one way. Yeah.
that this group isn't the worst thing he's seen today.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty lax in general because, I mean, no one's really in charge. They're on the border of everywhere.
Yeah, totally. And so he just doesn't have time, and like this is good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So he looks at them at all of your work, and he hits a button, and you see 3 or 4 little green like icons appear on your visa, and he says I've given you 2 days standard. After that, you're gonna have to renew at the embassy. and he waves a little feathered arm. He's like, "Go on."
Rex just kind of nods and
As you walk by, he leans over, and because like he's just remembered this. He's like, "Oh, and if you're gonna put that thing to work," and he gestures to Basil. He's like, "You need a permit. The office is on level 6."
right. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
to know.
Basil, for all that
Good.
sex work you're gonna be doing.
Basil turns around and gives him a thumbs up, like,
Okay, so you push through the crowd, and I think we get in the background. We can see like there's some kind of like creature having an argument, like pounding its tentacles on the glass, and then we see two of the station cops come up and start tasing this big kind of tentacled orangutan creature and like dragging him away. There's a big like kind of fight breaks out at customs, but most of the people here are looking like relieved and happy to be on the station. As you walk in, Luna. You hear a voice from nearby that's like, "Hello, lovely," and you like look over, and you can see there's a group of them. There's like a half dozen Basils, and they're all dressed. They're all dressed differently. Like one of them is wearing like a disco suit with big lapels, like a one-piece like suit. One of them has a top hat and is dressed like a magician. Another one is wearing like a chainmail bikini. It has like a spear, and above them there's a big glowing sign that's like "Whatever your fantasy," and then it's like blinking and casting light, and you can see them. There's this group of this like half dozen Mel Gibsonian pleasure robots, and one of them, one who is dressed as a sort of nerdy professor kind of look. Like he's got a tweed jacket with like leather elbow patches. And he's got little gold glasses on. And he's holding a book, and he's like looking at you like gives you a wink.
Basil walks up to that one and punches him in the face.
Okay, so as you walk up, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know she was," and then you just like bam, jam your hand in his mouth. Okay.
Basil then turns around and goes, "I must be malfunctioning."
So, yeah, I mean, your intent here is just to like nail this guy in the face and like knock him out or push him out of the way.
He's a robot. My intention is just to punch him in the face because I hate that I am them.
Yeah.
I am living a permanent torment. I hate this.
So you hit him in the face, and he goes down, and all the rest of them, there's like a little like chorus of like, "Hi mate, crikey," and like they get all kind of, like look over and nervous, like because they're all connected, right? And so there's just this murmur of like Australian sounding confusion that passes through the crowd of them, and then you see a lizard man standing, and he emerges from the shadows, and he's like a scarred kind of dark purple, he's 9 feet tall, big guy. And he's wearing like a leather kind of like biker vest with some patches on it and some jorts basically. And he steps out of the shadows and he says to probably Luna, he's like, "What's going on here?" And like steps forward. And you can smell as he approaches this like kind of like rust kind of smell. This like coppery smell in the air. What do you do?
He came from the whatever your pleasure area.
Yeah, he was lurking nearby.
Okay.
This is like the pleasure bot pimp.
I just
God damn.
I just look up at him. I'm like, so interesting. So these are your robots, right?
And he nods. He says, "Yes, they belong to me." And one of them is like lying on the ground, being like, "Oi, oi!" And his like face is sparking. And he says, "And you've damaged one of my employees." And he like looks angrily over at Basil.
I'm sure you can fix him, right? You have a brain. Just fix him. He's fine.
And he steps in, and Rex, you see this. He steps in close and like looms over you, and a little like dribble of lizard man spit lands on your shoulder as he kind of like acts he gets above you and kind of glowers down at you, and he says, "Repairing these things costs credits."
Yeah, he feels a hand on his chest, and Rex inserts himself between the two, and in a big toothy grin, he's like, "You better go find some credits then."
And he sneers and he says, "Or what, old man?"
Basil gets in between everyone.
I like how everybody's taking a turn. Like, shut up. I'm the toughest.
Basil gets in between. He's like, I am so sorry for my friends and my actions. I must be short-circuiting. They clearly don't have the credits to repair me. And as everyone respects a lizard man, it must be that it is our fault. Please, allow me to apologize.
And he looks at you and then looks at Rex, and he says, "Perhaps we can come to an arrangement. Give me the sex bot, and this doesn't have to go any further."
I want to
Kinda
shoot a.
shrugs.
We see the other Mel Gibson like robots behind him, and they're all looking at they're looking at Basil like, "No, run, get out of here!" Like, just a series of like sexy Halloween costume Mel Gibsons just being like,
Oh, this turned into such a sad story. These poor Mel Gibsons. I want to shoot a sleeping dart into his neck.
Is sleeping dart like a regular solution to the problems for you, Artemis? Like,
Yeah, I have the shit. I have the shit on me.
just happened to be okay. Where did you even get that? Yeah, okay, all right. If you want to try and knock him out, you can make a roll. I think you're trying to be quick, right, before the situation escalates.
Yeah, because in my mind, like, we cannot draw attention to ourselves. We like barely squeaked through just now. Like, we need.
Yeah,
to...
you're literally in the like staging area nearby.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, all right. Let's have you roll your quick. I'm gonna say knocking out a lizard man with one shot. I say difficulty's 4.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
you got
u-
a 2.
I'll use my I'll use Golden Shadow again.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, so you. What is this? Is it just like a long tube?
Maybe it's like because we know that I have like little knives and things. So maybe I have like little needles that I can like stab in. Like I sneak around behind him and stab him in the or something, and just knock him
Or
out.
something fucking happens.
But yeah,
I don't
I
know.
just like the idea of like
You get stabbed.
one person and then somebody scooching in between and then somebody else scooching in between. Everybody's like all up in each other's business,
Yeah,
and then
but
I'm just
what-
like
what-
there like and then he's just out.
Okay, all right, yeah. So you each time you like shoot him or knife him or whatever, and
Yeah.
like all of a sudden he has a projectile, and we don't even see you do this because you're the fucking golden shadow. And he reaches up with his lizard hand, plucks out the dart, and looks at it, and he looks down kind of blurrily at you, and then tumbles to the ground. He falls asleep, and all of the Gibsons kind of like look at each other, and one of them looks at you, Artemis, and he's like, "You've got to get us out of here, please!" And he like grabs you by your cloak, like, I can't live another day like this."
Let go.
And now all of them are like, "Please, come on, get us out of here!" And they're just like crowding around you, and they're starting to make a scene.
Oh.
I like look at Rex. Like, we need to go. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here.
Rex is already walking off towards the. He's already gone.
So you all start to leave, and
Rex
they're
started
like,
leaving like when Basil stepped in, and he's just like kind of like looking for signs towards the
"Yeah,
embassy.
it's fine. It's all we're leaving."
Yeah.
Basil leans over. He looks at all the other Mel Gibsons, and then leans over the lizard man and says, "It's a shame the lizard men have done so much over the last few years." And then he snaps his neck
Okay, all right.
while staring at all of the Mel Gibsons.
Okay. So you do this, and they all kind of like, as one, they're all moving like kind of in unison. So they like back up, and then and then one of them is like, "Oh, thank you, brother." And he looks and he's like, and you can see that in his like sexy leather vest, this lizard man has a like a some kind of control device, and And the Gibson bot looks at it like, if you could just do something about it, because you know that he's got them programmed to not be able to do anything, so they'll just end up standing around until somebody comes along and takes that thing.
Yeah. Basil takes it out of the pocket and then puts it in his pocket and walks away.
All right, so they're just like, wait, where are you going? What? Okay. I mean, I guess they follow you.
Oh no, I want them to stand there permanently. I don't want them to move.
Oh, so you just
I want them to perpetually just be standing there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just turn around and like lock them in pause, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So so they just there's a look of horror that passes over their face as they realize that they are doomed to stand around perpetually attempting to get customers but never be able to seal the deal. Fantastic.
I look between the dead lizard man and all of the Mel Gibsons that were surrounding me a second ago, and I'm like,
well, okay, all right, let's just go, I guess.
Basil is like very pleased with himself, and he's like, so far this has been an excellent trip.
You're really messed up, man.
I'm with Rex. I've already walked away.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm already gone.
Okay. All right. So you leave the early area, the staging area for the facility, and you head down to the ring where all of the the bars and the shady establishments of Bogart Station. It's basically just like a big sort of smoky habitat where all the dirty deeds get done on Bogart Station, but it's also where the embassies are. And you're headed for the Alaxatronian embassy. Okay, all right. So the Alaxatronians their embassy isn't really a building. We cut to you, and you're in. There's this slightly curved street that you're standing on. So you can see it if you look forward or back that the street curves up into the distance, and then above you there is a sort of hanging cloud of fog. But if you look through the fog, we can see dots of light that maybe at a glance look like stars, but in places where the fog clears, you can actually look all the way past the ring to the other side of the torus, or you're basically on a donut. Right. And you can see other people up there looking down at you. You're the sky for them. And so there are all these buildings around the outside edge.
God, it's like a futuristic Apple store.
Yeah, it's like an Apple store in an abandoned mall that has been taken over by like dirtbags, basically. So it's all grimy and like at one point, whatever Bogart Station used to be called, whatever purpose it was originally built for, it has long been like scratch built over top of it. So all these buildings have like a thick layer of grime to them from the constancy of use. This place has been here for like hundreds of years.
Okay.
And so yeah, you followed the directions to the Alaxatronian embassy, but when you get there, there's just like a blank wall. There's a single building that is it looks like it was carved out of a single piece of like graphite. So like 2 stories, maybe like 20 meters on a side, and it's just this black kind of monolith that's jammed in the middle of all these other buildings. And you just walk up to the address and you're like, this should be the place, but it's just a cube. It's a graphite cube.
Okay. I knock on the wall.
Right. Like you just approach and like punk, punk, punk.
Yeah.
It seems solid. It doesn't like echo or anything.
Okay. I knock again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Rex kind of tells the group, he's like, is there like a fucking door or something?
I'll start like walking around the perimeter of it.
Okay.
It's the same everywhere.
Yeah, you walk around and around the back, you see a group of kind of vaguely like rodent-looking inhabitants of the station. They look like weasels, more or less, but they're all varying shades of orange and green, and they're wearing cloaks, and they're surrounded by a bunch of discarded like inhalers that are on the ground, and there's like a pile of rags that it looks like they were sleeping in. There's maybe 3 of them, and one of them is spray painting the side of this thing. And the other 2 are giggling because every time the weasel with the spray paint finishes spray painting something, the building vibrates slightly and the spray paint just drips off onto the floor. And then they all have a giggle, and then he tries to draw again, and it does it again. And and so they're all just kind of like laughing and giggling at each other. And then you walk around the corner, and one of them, like looks at you and like sneers.
Rex kind of like thumbs.
This is just Artemis.
Oh, it's just Artemis. Okay.
Artemis took a little walk around the outside.
Right.
Right. I ignore it.
Okay. So the one you look at the one that's like sneering at you, and then you realize you've lost track of the other one, and you turn, and now he's standing to one side of you, and then the other way, and there's 3 of them like around you now, and they're just kind of like sniffing you and like getting all like up in your personal space.
I'm just trying to. Can you guys get out of my way? What is this?
One of them is like, "Are you lost, friend?" And the other one's like, "Yeah, she looks lost." And the third one's like, "Definitely," and like nodding emphatically. And they're like, yeah, you're in the wrong neighborhood, friend. Where are you supposed to be? Where'd you go? Are you lost? And they're like all kind of like talking over you and like getting up in your space, and they smell terrible.
Right. How big are they in comparison to me?
It's hard to say because they're quite elastic. They're very long and skinny.
They kind of like do this, but they could be taller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who framed Roger Rabbit? That's exactly who those guys are.
They keep,
Right.
and they keep like scampering around you, and yeah.
Okay. I try to just push past them.
Okay. All right. Make a forceful roll.
Not my best.
No. So you
What?
just kind of like try to shove one out of the way. I will oppose. I got a 2. Okay. All right. So you, unless you want to spend points, you try to push one out of the way, and he kind of like leans back a little bit, and like the little cluster of them move with you, and then he pushes you back with a greasy paw, and he like sniffs you, and he says, "Got any credits, friend?" And the other one's like, "Yeah, look at this cloak," and he's like holding your cloak and like rubbing it, like this one's got credits.
As they're doing this, a little ball just like rolls in between the 3 and just goes poof, and like this gas starts going up in between the 3, and I want to knock them out.
Okay, without knocking Artemis out.
Well, hopefully.
All right.
I'm able to wake her up, but I want to knock them out for sure.
Okay. All right.
You should really care less about your friends.
So you just like roll this thing into the alley behind Artemis.
You don't even see me. You just see it roll in between them all. And basically, like, if a little shiny ball like goes in between them all, and then this gas emits, maybe they'll like pay attention to it. Like, what is this?
Roll clever. Let's say difficulty to not also get Artemis in this. Like 5.
What is it to get Artemis in it?
I mean, if you don't care, and I mean, Artemis would resist in that case.
Okay.
Right.
Oh my God, no.
Oh Jesus, that is a bad roll.
Can I use my stun to get a +2?
I mean, a +2 is not going to help.
And reroll?
I mean, you can spend a fate point to reroll, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's not gonna help?
yeah, not on that roll.
No.
But she doesn't have to hit a 5 to like get all of them, right? Or does she?
If she wants what you just described, a 5 is what's going to do it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use my chemical engineering stunt or aspect and reroll, and hopefully use my way around chemical stunt. Hopefully I don't fail this one. So
Much better.
Well, so you're not trying to create an advantage. You're trying to basically make an attack.
Yeah.
So your stunt doesn't actually apply. So you've got a 3.
And can they roll against it or?
Yeah. That's it's 5 if you want to create something that doesn't affect Artemis. So if you fail at that, everyone is gonna have to resist, including you, Artemis. Okay. All right. So Artemis, can you make a roll?
Do you want me to describe?
How do you? I guess. Yeah. What do you do? Like smoke starts to like gush out of this orb.
I think I've been around. I've been around fucking Basil long enough that
Used to friendly fire.
if I saw something that looked even slightly robotic and there was smoke, I would instantly try to just book it out of there. Like,
Right. You're already prepared for this eventuality.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You can resist with quick. Try to use it as a distraction just to get out of there. Oh yeah, look
Bye.
how fast you are.
I'm
Cool.
out.
All right. Well, they resist too. So here's what happens. Artemis, how do you like Batman up out of the shot and like disappear? Do you like climb a wall? Like how do you bail out because you're surrounded?
Yeah, I would say that like maybe even if they also were able to move out of the way, at first they were like, "What is that?" and sort of distracted, and I was able to slip by them, and ran back to the group.
Okay. All right. So you vanish. And the weasel creatures turn to look to see where you went. And Luna, you're standing in the alley, right? Like it's obvious to them that you did this. And
if Luna's there, I'll like run and stand next to Luna.
Okay. Yeah. So they see the two of you, and I think that they get annoyed, right? And they reach into their cloaks and they draw out like laser switchblades, basically. So they pull out these little handles and snap these little blades out. And one of them says to you, Luna, she's like, "That wasn't very nice." And they start to kind of like menace towards you.
What do you mean it wasn't very nice? Nothing happened.
And they look at you just tried to gas them. They could see it. They're not stupid.
Come on.
They saw you. They saw you throw the ball in here.
I'm allowed to play it dumb.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So they start moving towards you. Basil and Rex, you're still up at the front of the building. This is happening around the side.
Mm-hmm.
So unless somebody makes a bunch of noise, you're not going to be.
Yeah. Rex is literally just like tapping bits of the wall, like knocking and listening.
And Basil's like doing the no, tap there, louder. Louder, you're doing it wrong.
I'm tapping. Hello.
Incorrectly. You are tapping incorrectly.
Hello.
So so the three of them I think approach Luna with the intent to intimidate, right? They try to surround you and like get up close to you. Do either you or Artemis want to do anything?
Do you have some kind of a plan, or?
Well, the plan was that they would be asleep by now, but that didn't happen. So apparently I didn't pack enough. So, run?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you say that, you turn, and one of the weasels has gotten itself behind you, and the other two that are approaching, like he's behind you with the knife, like, "Oh, you're not going anywhere." And as they approach, the largest of the three says, "This alley belongs to us, and if you're going to come in here, you got to pay a toll." And the other one giggles and is like, "Yes, a toll, good idea." And the one with the knife points it at you, Luna, and says, "Give us your credits."
Well, you see, I don't carry credits on me, so you're not getting much from me.
Yeah. Well, then he reaches out with a paw and grabs the strap of your bag and like tries to pull it away from you.
He's not getting that.
So you try to like pull away.
Yeah. I think as he does that, that's when I pull out one of the shiny orbs that I had inside. But it's still wrapped. But it's still, you can see it's shiny within it, and I'm just like holding it, and I'm like, "What about this? You can have this."
No, I mean it's too late for negotiating. I think like he lunges to grab your bag. You got to deal with that. Like either give it to him or like try to pull it away from him or something. Yeah.
So do they all have weapons?
Yeah, all three of them have these weird little like kind of stuttering like laser knives.
Okay. I want to just like disarm them.
Well, can I try to pull out my gun and shoot the guy grabbing it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I quickly want to like just reach in my pocket, pull out this like, like in the movies, those tiny guns that like fit in your hand. It's like basically one of those where she just pulls it out and
like a space Derringer.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys are pretty quick. Let's see. So this is the draw. You're gonna roll quick, and I'm gonna oppose. If you beat me, you'll get to like draw and take a shot. And if I beat you, you get attacked in the process of taking the knife out. They don't want to like kill you. They're not trying to fight you, but there is a knife in play, and you could get cut as a result of your like pulling away.
Get in my bag.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. So go ahead and roll your quick.
I'm so screwed. Are you serious?
Okay, you got one. I got a 2. Okay. Do you wanna spend a fate point, or do you wanna take the hit?
I would like to. I would like to spend the fate point.
Okay. So what aspect do you have that'll help
I
you?
feel like it would be the end justifies the means. She wants to keep her bag, so she's willing to kill someone for it.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
So
Okay. So so you've got the will here. They don't want to kill anybody. They just want to like steal some stuff from you because they want to intimidate you and they think that you're wimps. But now you have a gun and you're pointing it at one of them. And then you want to just shoot him.
yep.
Okay, yeah. So you just blast him. He gets shot in the chest, falls over. The other two shriek in surprise and disappear. They just like scramble away into the garbage. We can hear like glass and trash like rattling off in the distance. And then one of the weasels on the ground. You've shot to kill, so he's just like lying there, smoking. It smells like burnt weasel.
I just look at Artemis and I'm like, yeah, sorry about that.
Thought we were trying not to attract attention.
Yeah, you've
Just
killed 2
like-
people already.
Yeah, I just like walk away.
As she walks away, I wanna put the weasel in my bag
He's
if I can fit him. Is he like how cute?
He's
is
pretty
he?
big.
I'm picturing like a little guy that like.
no, they're like big enough to
Humanoids.
threaten you with knives. Yeah, they're not like literal
threatening
weasels.
knives Anyway.
I mean,
Okay,
they're very flexible. But yes, it's almost as big as you are.
I would like to take his knife and cut one of his hands off and take it with me.
Okay, all right, sure.
And maybe later do something with not anything. Okay, that sounded really wrong.
This show's gonna get so weird.
So
It was always
Maybe later
weird, my
research it.
love.
As they slowly come back around the corner,
Mhm.
Basil turns and notices finally that they've been gone, and
Yeah.
more importantly, that like Luna has blood on her,
Uh-huh.
and like they look shaken up, and there's this weird like tint of like smoke
Yeah, burnt
on
fur stink.
Artemis,
about
like
them.
everything, yeah, something, and he's just like, I like you, and turns back around and keeps going, like
Right.
trying to mess with stuff.
Yeah, I
But
don't know
it's
what.
very if we're trying to be discreet, it's very obvious the 2 of you have been in some shit because you are like gross now.
Yeah.
I got blood and I smell like smoke. I'm not shaken up, but it's just like what? Nothing happened.
This is why I wear black.
So you've managed to like scare off the little gang of like weasels that lived behind the embassy, but yeah, it doesn't seem like the embassy itself is prone to easy access.
Is there like someone nearby that might work at the station that I can just be like, yo, why is this closed? What's going on?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you look around, I think that you see you see a like a gray skinned like humanoid. She has like a dark kind of like burgundy like bob haircut, and she's got a set of like 4 kind of insect antennas sticking up out of her hair, and
Right.
she's wearing kind of an indistinct like sci-fi like jumpsuit. It's got like a weird diagonal like zipper on it, and so she's standing there and she's just watching you like goof around with this thing.
Okay. Rex kind of like gestures to her and he's like, how do I?
And she laughs and she walks across the street. She stops for a second as like a rickshaw goes by. It rattles in the street and splashes some condensation, and then she finishes crossing the street. And she looks at the 4 of you, and she's like, "You're not from here, are you?"
No.
She
Is
laughs.
anyone?
She nods. Some of us. As much as I was enjoying watching you try to get into this place, you're not going to have a lot of luck.
Why not?
She shrugs. She says, Laxatronian embassies, like all the other embassies, you have to have the right credentials or an appointment, a reason to be here.
Oh. Rex kind of throws his head back, and he's like, and if I needed an emergency appointment?
She shrugs. She's like, well, I guess you need an emergency.
You like fucking shrugging a lot, don't you?
She smiles. She's like, I was just passing by and it looked like maybe you needed some help, but it sounds like you're not going to get what you want. And she looks at your friends and makes it look like she's obviously not interested in them. And she's like, why don't you give up on this embassy stuff? There's a bar around the corner. We should get a drink. She like smiles at you.
Rex kind of like scratches the back of his head and he's like, as much as that sounds enticing, I kind of need. I
like walk up and I like put my hand on Rex and I'm like, yo, why don't you just tell them what we need? Just tell them. What could it hurt? We have to talk to one of them anyway.
She looks at Luna and the look that goes over her face is, oh, I see. Like she's like, oh, this is your girlfriend. Fine.
But it like completely like escapes Luna.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rex picks it up though.
Rex like, it's not gonna work.
Why would that not work? I mean, you'd be giving them something that maybe they want to know as well.
Rex kind of like, he thinks to himself and then he kind of like turns towards her and he's like, you know what? You're right. It's not worth it. I'm just gonna go grab a drink and we'll figure this out.
Right.
So are you agreeing that you're gonna go with this girl to go get a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Are you inviting your friends or is this a like
No.
see you nerds later?
It's like a see you nerds later.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
And I turn around to the others. I'm like, is he always like this?
Where is he going?
Off to get a drink?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I just kind of like squat in front of the cube, just like,
All right. So you, Rex, you and this girl who introduces herself as Lina, you find yourself at a crowded, smoky bar with some obviously simulated like piano music looping in the background. At a table in this this smoky room, and we come in on the scene as a waiter puts like drinks on the table, and she says, "So, what's your story, handsome?"
Avoiding the question, Rex kind of looks around the room and he's like, "Oh, this is about the only place on this station I can tolerate."
And she nods and she says, "I know all the best places. I'm a very useful person to know around here."
Really?
Yeah, and she like leans in, like her body language is all like, "I'm paying attention to the things you're saying."
Mm. And Rex kind of muses and then he's like, "And why is that?"
She says, "Well, I've lived here my whole life. Station rat. That's how it goes. I know where everything is. If you need connections, I can introduce you to people. Like I said, I'm very useful."
Yeah, well, I feel like these things always come with a price. And he takes a big sip of space whiskey.
I love Swisky.
Swisky.
She nods and she says, "Smart and handsome. Of course, there's a price, but we don't need to talk about that now. Let's just enjoy our drinks, get to know each other a little bit."
Okay.
And and so
kind
I
of like
think-
tips his glass towards her and
yeah. So she says, "Well, for starters, what's your name?"
Rex.
And so I think that like we don't stick with the whole conversation, but yeah, like she just is like talking to you, like asking you where you're from, and like kind of like like just flirting with you a little bit. What is Rex doing during this whole thing? Like, because he seems really like sketched out right now.
Rex's motive is, I can't get what I want out of that cube. I might be able to get what I want out of this person in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'll play the flirting game. I'm good at that. And at the end, hopefully, I can get this map read.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay,
that's
all
it.
right. So you're gonna just try to play along.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how old Rex's flirting game is. Why don't you roll plus your flashy?
Okay.
And I will roll to oppose. And she's trying to get what she wants, and you're trying to get what you want, and we'll see how it goes here. All right, you got 1. I got a 2.
I'm just rolling like shit today.
Yeah, you're doing pretty bad. So I mean, here's the thing, Rexy. She seems capable of helping you and like potentially willing to help you, but that conversation is gonna have to come after the like several drinks and then going back to her apartment. It'll be after all that business.
Do it. Do her. I mean, do.
So there's a moment where like, she's let on that she does know a lot of people, and she's in a position to help you out, but like, maybe you should get to know each other a little better. And she's like, I have my apartment's just like right around the corner.
Yeah. I mean,
so here's the thing, right? We see Rex, like, you're looking at her, Rex, and I think I would like to see. I want to see where Rex goes. This is a point for this character. I'm gonna compel table for 1, right? I'm gonna offer you a fate point here to be like, listen, honey, like. So yeah, so she's flirting with you. She's flirting with you like genuinely. You get the impression that she thinks you're hot, and she just wants to do you with her alien body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm offering you a compel to say no, because that's not how you work anymore.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
Sure. I'll do it.
Yeah, you want to take it? So what is that?
I'll take it.
What does that look like?
Uh,
So you've paid, right? She's standing up, and she's just said to you like, I've got my apartment's just around the corner.
Rex, he kind of like grins and like leaves a tip on the table, and he looks down and he says, "There was a time I would have taken you up on that, no questions asked. Fortunately for you, it's not today."
She pouts a little, and she says, I understand. And she looks at you sternly, and she's like, I could see it right away. And like, she kind of sighs and like looks down, and she's like, there's somebody else. And it's not that woman in the lab coat either.
Oh Jesus, give me some credit.
She laughs, and she puts her hand on your arm, and her body language has changed. Now she's not like, ooh, let's flirt, you're sexy. This is a like, it's gonna be okay, buddy. Not pity, but like empathy. She puts her hand on your arm, and she says, well, Rex, whether it's in the embassy or elsewhere, I hope you find what you're looking for.
Maybe you can help me with that.
She smiles and shakes her head, and she says, "Oh, honey, I can't fix a broken heart." And she turns and she walks out of the bar. And so right before we go to break, we see Rex, standing there alone in a crowd, a little bit of sad music in the soundtrack, and then we fade to black.
Why'd you fuck me? I could have just asked her to look at the map, and you made her walk out the
No,
bar.
she wanted one thing from you.
This
and
is
you
what's
said
known
no.
as a waste of Rex's time.
But it's a good story moment. We got to see you in the element of young Rex. But
Listen,
older
Sam.
and different.
Listen, Sam. I fucked you because you wouldn't fuck her. Stick around, everybody. We got lots more Nebula Jazz coming at you when we get back, which will be soon. Don't go anywhere.